What if winning a game meant losing everything that makes you human? What if survival wasn't victory at all, but just another kind of death? The Long Walk, written by Stephen King under the name Richard Bachman, asks exactly that. It is a story that doesn't just test the body, but the soul itself. And when the final page turns, we're left with a chilling truth in this brutal contest. No one really wins. The story begins with an idea that seems simple on the surface. 100 teenage boys sign up for a walking competition. At first, it doesn't sound too bad. Just keep moving. Stay above 4 miles per hour. That's it. Easy rules, right? But then the hidden cruelty becomes clear. There are no breaks. No sitting. No stopping. If you slow down, you get a warning. 3 warnings, and you're shot on the spot. This isn't a race for money or glory in the way we usually think about competitions. This is a race where the prize is survival, and survival for only one boy. Everyone else must die. The military enforces it with cold precision, guns ready to strike down anyone who falters. There's no safety net, no second chances, and no way out once the walk begins. The boys don't enter the long walk by accident. Some are driven by pride, others by rebellion, and some by the faint hope of fame or riches. The winner supposedly receives anything he wants for the rest of his life. That promise of ultimate reward is dangled like a carrot, but in truth it's just bait. The real spectacle is in the suffering, the way the crowd watches like it's entertainment. This is not a sport. This is state-sanctioned cruelty packaged as entertainment for the masses. The world Stephen King builds is terrifying not because it's full of monsters, but because it's full of people who see death as a show. Families come to cheer, fans line the roads, and the entire country tunes in like it's a festival. The boys aren't just contestants, they're sacrifices, and the world around them has been trained to accept it. At the center of this is Ray Garraty, the main character. At 16, he joins the Long Walk with the same mix of fear and curiosity as the others. He's not a hero in the traditional sense, not stronger or braver than the rest. Instead, he's ordinary, almost too ordinary. But that's what makes his journey so disturbing. We see ourselves in him. We feel his pain, his exhaustion, and his growing realization that there is no way to truly escape this nightmare. And as the boys march, the layers of civilization begin to peel away. At first, they joke, form friendships, even compete in lighthearted ways. But slowly, the brutality of the rules sinks in. Each death is a reminder of what waits for them all. Every warning, every gunshot is a step closer to inevitability. The game doesn't just kill them physically, it strips away their humanity piece by piece. This opening sets the stage for something larger than just a story of survival. It's a mirror held up to us, forcing us to question, why do people cheer for suffering? Why do we watch others struggle and call it entertainment? And most importantly, why does a system like this pretend there's such a thing as winning when the cost is everything? The deeper the boys walk, the less the long walk feels like a contest, and the more it feels like a slow-motion execution. At the start, there's laughter, small talk, and even a sense of excitement. It almost feels like summer camp on the road. But hour by hour, mile by mile, that illusion falls apart. Hunger gnaws at them. Blisters rise on their feet, their legs cramp, and exhaustion creeps in like a shadow. There's no pause, no chance to breathe. Even resting for a few seconds means risking death. This is where the real heart of the Long Walk reveals itself, not in the rules, but in what those rules do to the boys. The march becomes a psychological crucible. Each step strips away the masks of childhood. Every boy who starts out as a joker, a tough guy, or a dreamer eventually breaks down into something rawer, something closer to the bone. The walk forces them to face truths most of us spend a lifetime avoiding: how fragile the body is, how quickly friendship can turn to desperation, and how meaningless pride becomes when the clock of mortality is ticking in your ear. Ray Garraty, our lens into this nightmare, is constantly balancing two sides of himself. On one hand, he clings to hope. He talks, he listens, he tries to believe in human connection. On the other hand, he feels the darkness pressing closer. He watches boys he joked with only hours before stumble, falter, and fall under gunfire. Each death is both shocking and strangely numbing. The crowd cheers, the soldiers enforce the rules, and the walk goes on as if nothing happened. The friendships that form are strange, fragile bonds. Garraty connects with others like Mikvries, who becomes both a rival and a friend. In the crucible of exhaustion, enemies and allies blur together. Sometimes they share jokes, sometimes they fight bitterly, sometimes they walk in silence because words take too much energy. But what makes these bonds haunting is the knowledge that every friendship is temporary. No matter how much they care for one another, only one can survive. Companionship becomes both a lifeline and a curse, and then there's the crowd. The bystanders lining the road clap, cheer, wave flags, and shout encouragement as though watching a parade. But what they're celebrating is death. Every warning is met with anticipation, every shot with cathartic release. It's entertainment masked as patriotism. For the boys, this constant audience becomes a sick reminder that their suffering is not private. They are performers in a spectacle where their pain is the main event. The themes of the long walk run deeper than the boys' footsteps. Endurance is one of them. How long can the human body push before it collapses? But there's also the theme of identity. How long can the mind keep its grip when the world demands submission? For Garraty and the others, endurance becomes less about surviving the rules and more about resisting the collapse of self. Perhaps the most unsettling theme is the stripping away of humanity. Bit by bit, the boys lose not just strength but dignity. They urinate on the road while still walking. They hallucinate, babble, beg for mercy that never comes. The soldiers with their rifles treat them not as boys but as moving targets. The crowd sees them not as children but as entertainment. Humanity is chipped away until only the raw instinct to keep walking remains. This section of the story is what makes the ending so powerful. By the time we reach the final pages, we understand that the walk is not about choosing a winner, it's about exposing the truth. When stripped of comfort, safety, and choice, what does a person become? For the boys, the answer is clear. They become shadows of themselves, marching toward an ending where even victory feels like another kind of loss. Asterisk after hours turn into days, and the road stretches endlessly before them. The long walk reaches its brutal climax. One by one, the boys fall. Some collapse from exhaustion, others stumble too many times, and a few simply give up, choosing death over the endless pain. Their warnings run out and the rifles fire with cold efficiency. What began as a crowd-pleasing spectacle is now a procession of ghosts, with the handful of survivors dragging their bodies toward a finish line that doesn't truly exist. Ray Garraty keeps going. His feet are shredded, his mind is unraveling, and his body is working on instinct alone. He's barely aware of his surroundings anymore. The boys who once walked beside him, laughing and talking, are gone. Mikvries, his closest companion and rival, is gone too, leaving Garraty utterly alone on the endless road. The silence that follows is not victory. It's emptiness. When the last boy finally collapses, Garraty is declared the winner. The soldiers who have marched in silence beside him turn their guns away. The rules are clear. He has outlasted 99 others. He is the champion. He has won the prize of anything he wants for the rest of his life. But in this moment there is no celebration, no joy, no sense of triumph. Garraty is too far gone to even recognize what has happened. His mind is broken by the endless march, his body hollowed out by exhaustion, and his spirit crushed by the knowledge of what he's lost. The ending takes a surreal, haunting turn. Garraty doesn't stop walking. He can't. He sees a figure up ahead on the road, someone or something waiting for him in the distance. Maybe it's another marcher. Maybe it's death itself. Maybe it's just a hallucination conjured by a brain that has pushed past its limits. But to Garraty, none of that matters. He feels drawn to it, compelled to keep moving forward. The soldiers shout for him to stop, but he doesn't hear. Or maybe he does and simply doesn't care. He pushes past his failing body, past the last fragments of his mind, and keeps going. His legs move not because he wants them to, but because they no longer know how to stop. The final image we're left with is Garraty reaching out his hand toward that figure ahead, stumbling forward into the unknown. And then nothing. The story ends. It's an ending that refuses to give us closure. We never see Garraty claim his prize, never see him go home, never see the world react to the so-called victor. Because that's the point. There is no true victory here. Garraty may have won by the rules, but he has lost in every other way. His body is ruined. His mind is shattered. His humanity is gone. He is alive, yes, but the person who began the long walk has died somewhere along the road. This deliberate ambiguity is what makes the ending so powerful and so haunting. Did Garraty die at that moment, walking toward the shadowy figure? Did he transcend into something beyond life, carried forward by sheer willpower? Or did he truly survive, destined to live out his prize in a world that already feels meaningless? The answer is left to us, and none of the answers are comforting. The final walk into the unknown captures the entire spirit of the story, that winning isn't real when the system itself is built on cruelty. Garraty doesn't win a future. He doesn't win peace. He doesn't even win rest. All he wins is the chance to keep walking endlessly toward something he can never truly reach, and that's the tragedy of the long walk. The ending isn't about triumph, it's about futility. It's about how survival in a game designed for death is just another kind of punishment. Asterisk on the surface, the long walk crowns a champion. Out of 100 boys, only Ray Garraty remains standing. The soldiers step aside, the crowd cheers, and the system declares him the victor. But the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes. There is no true victory here. The ending leaves us with the haunting truth that in this contest everyone loses. First, think about the physical cost. 99 boys lie dead, their bodies abandoned along the road, shot without mercy. They gave everything, their youth, their strength, their lives, for nothing more than spectacle. Garraty survives, yes, but what does he survive as? His body is ruined beyond repair. Every muscle, every nerve, every bone has been pushed past the point of healing. Even if he lives another day, that body will never truly recover. His victory is a shell, hollowed out by exhaustion and pain. Then there's the psychological cost. The long walk doesn't just kill bodies, it breaks minds. Garraty's thoughts are fragmented, his perception blurred between hallucination and reality. The figure he sees at the end may not even exist, which means he isn't stepping into triumph, but into madness. And even if he does go on to live with his prize of anything he wants, how could he enjoy it? He has seen every one of his companions die, often in brutal, unforgettable ways. He carries their screams, their faces, their suffering inside him. That is not a reward. That is a lifelong curse, but the deepest loss lies in what the long walk reveals about society itself. This was never a fair competition, never a test of skill, never a game designed to uplift. It was designed to destroy. From the very beginning, the system ensured that there would be no true winner-only survivors who were broken beyond recognition. The prize is an illusion, a distraction to justify cruelty. The government pretends it offers glory, but really it offers nothing but scars. The crowd, the cheering, the celebration of death, it all reveals a culture that has normalized suffering as entertainment. The winner doesn't escape this system. He validates it. Garraty's survival ensures the show can go on again next year, with another 100 boys and another doomed victor. His win isn't freedom, it's proof that the cycle continues. He may be alive, but he's still trapped in the machine. This is why Stephen King's ending refuses to give us closure. If Garraty had gone home, claimed his prize, and lived happily ever after, the story would lose its power. Instead, the ambiguity forces us to sit with the truth. Survival isn't the same as winning. Endurance doesn't equal freedom. In a system built on cruelty, even the champion is a victim, and that's the final, chilling irony of the long walk. No one wins because winning isn't possible. The boys lose their lives. Garraty loses his humanity, and society loses its soul by turning suffering into spectacle. The march may end, but the damage is permanent. The cost of victory is too high, the reward meaningless, and the system too cruel to allow any true triumph. So, when Garraty stumbles forward, Reaching out toward that shadowy figure at the end, he isn't stepping into glory. He's stepping into the truth of the story itself, that in the long walk, survival is just another form of defeat. And that's why, in the end, no one really wins.